Hello, everybody. This is Connections Forum, and I am Margarita Crystal Lotus. And this episode of Connections Forum is number 61. 61 is a good number, I think. And with me here, I have a special guest, which I'm going to introduce more seriously later. Her name is Elaine Nieberding. Say hi.
Hey everybody, here it is, April the 2nd. We've survived April Fool's Day. Isn't that a good thing? I'm happy to be here with you, Margarita.
And I'm happy to be with you here because the topic of today is how humor brings color and joy into your life. We have chosen a symbol for this, and that's the rainbow. The rainbow symbolizes the healthy state where all our different levels and energy states or chakras, whatever you want to call it, are balanced. And rainbows appear in front of us after a transformation, just the same way as when there was a really bad storm and it was windy, it was minus 27 degrees minus Celsius, and you thought you would freeze to death, or you had this great upset and argument or pain inside. And then you realized something, you transformed that. And that emotional outburst, the storm, relaxed. And what happens? The rainbow appears on the sky of your inner vision. And so this is the topic today, the seriousness of humor, because humor and joy and laughter is a very viable method to actually pick ourselves up at any time, any situation, or in any kind of predicament we have. So here with us today, we have a very amazing person. She is a joy ambassador. Elaine is something like a wizard of laughter yoga. She has a compassion with her patients, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what she, the first question I have for Elaine is this. She shared with me before in the green room that she was a cancer nurse, and that she was, can you tell us about that when you were choosing the scrubs from your closet?
Yeah. So, as a nurse, as many who work in clinical settings, in bedside hospital patient care, it's not at all unusual to work a couple 12-hour shifts in a week. Not just 8 hours, but a 12-hour shift. So when you're waking up in the morning to start your day, if you're going to get through a long day, you have to make a decision of how you're going to get through your day and start your day. And so because I have been loving color and loving rainbows, over the years I actually collected scrubs in every imaginable color. And as I would start the day, I would think, what color do I feel like wearing today? Or I'd be asking kind of on the inside, what should I be wearing today so that when I'm, walking through the hospital corridor or walking into a patient's room, I will have that vibratory, I'll just have a vibe that can help me be a healing presence. And, so when I'd actually go to the closet, someday it would be the pink and pastel colors, other days it would be red, other days it would be like, oh, You need to get the whole the whole rainbow spectrum in. And I put this scrub jacket of mine on to wear today to remind me how much I love color and how much I use that both to uplift myself and to help be a healing presence with my patients. I would often get, Margarita, comments back from patients how much the bringing in that color, that vibrant color, into the patient room was really helpful for them. Shift their mood, shift their attention, or just be nourished. And so I wanted to wear that scrub today and share that little story with you. Cancer patients, when they're in the hospital, typically they're feeling, they are facing some new crisis. It's either a recurrence of their cancer or a complication of treatment, or the discovery that maybe this bugger has even spread or returned. And so cancer patients often are in a place of distress when they're there, and they need nourishment, comfort, and upliftment to help them shift perception.
Yeah, that was a very a good intro to do what we're going to talk about. And in Connections Forum, we are offer talks, interviews, and short mini-series on relevant topic in the basic human interaction. And it's like when we ask a guest to come, and of course I'm Margarita Cristallotis and my buddy Heidi Hornline, we each select these topics. And for example, today Heidi is away in Italy and seeing Mia Voss on her 50 years old very beautiful journey to Italy. So Heidi's not here today, but we send her very big wishes and welcomes next week. And I have a healing practice that I work with women. And today we're going to explore a little bit from a healing point of view, how can we actually go through those crises with a maintained center, with maintained focus, because if we are all out of sorts, all upset, all kinds of things that goes on and is on our mind, we can't really see ourselves as we are. We're just in that, I have a great suit today, or I'm in my grumpy mood, or I'm in some kind of archetype that I inherited from perhaps my parents or their parents, whatever, and the mindsets that we have in our life creates our life. And so, in my view, in healing work, the view is everything. Because if you have a problem, let's say, that puts a screen in front of you. You see everything through that problem. And the thing to do is to actually understand that this screen is a different view than a healthy view. So what would you say, Elaine, because she told me here in the beginning that she had some kind of stress manual. Can you mention some of those little exercises that we talked about,
Well, when we find ourselves in a stressful or challenging circumstance, giving ourselves permission to be playful or humorous can help us clear the thoughts that seem to have a grip on the way we're responding to our challenge or circumstance, and open up to new, fresh perspectives. So sometimes we actually have to deliberately say, let me challenge myself to be playful in a new way. And sometimes we can do that by being playful with words or phrases or sentences. In a in a manual that I have as a stress management consultant and instructor, there was an exercise in here that says a helpful thing to do for humor therapy is to exaggerate. So, for example, there are a bunch of statements here that are like completion sentences, and anybody could have fun playing with these statements. So, for example, one of them is, you know the world is going to hell when, and then you complete the statement. So Margarine and I started playing with this, and I said, hey, let's make up a completion to this statement with color. And so I thought, you know the world's going to hell when, and then wanting to think of something with green, like green slime is oozing up from all the pipes in your house. You know the world's going to hell in a handbasket when you go to the pizza store to order your pizza, and the only kind they're serving that day is ham and pineapple pizza. You know the world's going to hell in a handbasket when you go to the grocery store and the only thing for sale is rotten bananas. We have to play. We have to choose to play. And when it comes to finding new things that are funny, often what makes us laugh is something, when paired with something else, it's just something new, fresh, or unexpected.
Yeah, that's cool. I have, there's Candy here, and she says that I'm wearing yellow, which brings money, as the Japanese says. Yay for that. Wonderful. And then Nicole Levac is here, and she says a bit late but present. That's so cool. If you are present to your own situation and having a problem. So if you're watching this later or on the call right now, so we can just state the problem here. This is problem X. So what is your problem? What would you say, Elaine, about your problem? You can make it up or be...
Well, what was going on for me earlier this morning was my problem was my way of looking at a circumstance. I was convinced that my way of looking at, my way of handling some things with my parents is right. And like the other person's view, and just feeling a lot of tension because each of us is like kind of invested in the rightness of our way of doing things. And you know what? Feels like crap. Feels like crap. Getting caught in that thought that my way of doing things is the only right way. You know, it's kind of narrow. And that we're seeing things differently. That's my problem for the day. Yeah.
Well, when we are in the problem X, right? This is blocking our vision. So let's try with, you know when in the movie they come like a a thing here moving over the screen, and now you can't see anything. Now you can see it. Oh, now you can see myself, and then the problem is just passing by like a cloud on the sky. So can you do that? You can just see the problem. It's here, it's here, it's coming closer, closer, closer. Oh no, 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 I'm in a crisis. Blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, a little bit light here. Okay, oh yeah, it's leaving. It's leaving, yes. What is it that's leaving? It's our own inner view. Okay, I got the telephone call from a friend. So that I got distracted. You see how we can get distracted when we get a phone call on the Hangout? So if I now see this thing that I did went on into my mind, right? It's the mind. And so if we can find ourselves to come back to that view where we see ourselves, and not this problem is blocking some part of our heart or throat, yeah, you know. And then we have the power to actually, okay, I see this problem, I'm going to deal with it and push it out. So, Elaine, what do you think? How would you deal with this view thing and thinking that that bad person, that the energy of that that frustration or anger or whatever it is, it's inside of us, right? So how do we kick that out?
Well, there are a variety of ways to approach our problem solving. I know a lot more of the way I used to approach problem solving was mental, thinking it through. And what I've come to recognize as I age, as I mature, is that I actually serve myself well by allowing myself to turn off like what the story is about it and actually allow myself to just feel the feelings. That if I do that and I allow myself to just get present with the feeling and without judging myself for having the feeling, then that's often a good way where I can help make a shift. Because even this morning when you and I were starting to talk about some of the things I was grappling with, I was being really thinky about it. Okay, when I started playing, or that helped me get out of the thinky mode. But I'd like to bring the idea of getting into the feelings and relate it back to color. Sometimes, sometimes when we're noticing we're having a really strong feeling, if someone asks like what color comes to mind with that feeling? And and that could be a tool for even giving you permission to just really fully immerse yourself in the feeling without judgment, because that's part of the human condition. And then it can begin to shift or open up the energetic configurations in the body so that you might begin to open up to places where you have awarenesses of how to approach your problem, your circumstance, and get out of either judging yourself, the other person, or, the condition, whatever it happens to be.
Okay, I have a problem with my somebody's calling me here. I don't know how to turn this off. Anyway, I have to
laugh
and learn about that. Anyway, Thank you for this very amazing explanation of shifting from the mind into the feeling state. Because if you just shut it down and hide it somewhere, that then later uh, expresses itself in more pain, more, and then when that thing has to burst, then you are in a real crisis. So a laughter a day keeps the doctor away, right?
It
So
does. Well, you know, and they say laughter is the best medicine, and it is. It is true. It was last October. I was able to join with laughter professionals from around the world at a laughter conference in Los Angeles, and they gave us, for those who were doing presentations there, they gave us each a T-shirt that said "Laughter Expert," and I wore it proudly. I was making a presentation about actually using Hangouts to connect with people to laugh and tap into joy. And it occurred to me, it's easier for me to think about laughing as a way to approach healing than it is for humor, because what some people think is funny, other people don't. Some people get offended by what other people think is funny. It's a cultural thing. It's a personal thing. So when I'm feeling down and overwhelmed, it may be difficult for me to think there's something funny about my circumstance related to the things that I believe. But if I just start bringing laughter to anything, then to me that's easier. I start the physicality of laughing, and that helps me experience physical shifts, hormonal shifts, oxygenation shifts, and then I can be back more in that balanced state. And if someone were looking at all my chakra centers, they would more likely, say or perceive, I see you're more back in balance. Or the areas that appeared closed appear to be opening up again. So I often more easily talk about laughter than humor, but I always like talking about bringing more color into our lives.
Well, isn't it like you shifting the energy? It's like the energy of anger or sadness or whatever an energy. That's a raw energy that we generate inside of us. And when a person practices generating happy thoughts, happy feelings, then you can actually make a choice of, am I getting angry for this? I had a trigger inside that triggered that anger to arise, or that shame, or that guilt, or whatever any one of those complex emotions are. But it is, in fact, an energy form. It's like an energy there. It's like a physical muscle. It's on a physical reality. An emotion is a subtle energy, a muscle that we can use for the good or for the bad. And if we have a lot of pent up negativities inside, negative emotion, we hold grudges, we hold cords to other people, and we hate them, or we dislike them, or yeah, or she is this. There is going cords to that negativity, and then it's like a ball of jar around our heart, which is our ultimate emotional organ. So we have to take that thread and release it around your heart, and actually open up a little bit and make in the jungle of all of these threads, we have to peek out so we can actually see ourselves. And one of the better way to do that is to shift. Okay, so what's so funny about this? And you describe this with your laughing yoga, Elaine, because we breathe and then laugh and then we push the energy out, and then we do that as a real practice, and that actually moves it. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think you did. And it I want to shift sideways just a little bit, because you started talking about the words, like chords. And as you were talking about chords, and I was thinking about, the rainbow, which looks like these strands, of color. I got an idea for like a laughter or a illusion busting exercise related to a problem. So before, you were talking about problem X, okay?
So we still got it on a piece of paper here. It's looming here in the background. Back there.
So if I have problem X, and perhaps let's invite our viewers to consider this too.
Yeah.
Whatever is going on that's the most troubling issue, condition, concern you have, it's your problem X, okay? And now imagine that you have a rainbow, and magically it's going to turn into a whip, okay? It's got a handle, and at the end of this whip are all these colored strands, almost like, shoestring licorice.
You are too funny.
Okay?
I must see the
and you might ask yourself, I need to whip this problem with my rainbow licorice strips.
I love licorice.
I bust it up, because there's things about this that I think are so serious, and in truth, it's just my thinking that's making the whole thing so solid, so serious, so painful, and I know that perception, it's not wholly true. I'm looking at something in such a partial way. I don't see the whole picture. That's why I'm experiencing the pain. It's why I don't understand the resolution. And I have to beat up that belief that this whole problem is so solid. So let's get out our rainbow whips and laugh. Take a deep breath in and just whip the illusion out of this problem. Get one in each hand.
The joy was now do it you. Do it everyone. My problem I can't, and then I do it, and then I toss it out. Oh. Right now, I have a problem with my iPhone. I don't know how to turn it off and freeze all the time, and that's so frustrating. Have you experienced this? I mean, if Heidi was here, she would have told me how I'm muting all of these things, but she's over there having fun and drinking wine, I think. And while we are dealing with these problems, and look now what happened. Do you see the problem? It's gone.
Well, the condition still exists, but the picture frame, the problem picture frame you had around it has shifted, or it's gone, okay? And, if you start out this kind of exercise with a rainbow-colored whip, and then you notice It comes back. Then you might ask.
You know what? We can change that, I think.
Yes.
We can shift our mood. And when we are happy, what happens? Everybody knows if you're happier, if you're seeing it from the positive view, what do we do?
Yeah.
We can actually solve our problem. You can deal with it with a rational mind and overview and focus and not get, I can't handle this anymore.
Yeah. Well, you know, I did meet some cancer patients who did have this open and willing capacity to just come and recognize, I'm personally, as this one little individual human being, I'm not in control of a whole lot. When it comes to things and how they appear in form, I might not be able to control all those things, but I can choose my responses, and I can bring laughter, and I remember meeting cancer patients who once they said, I don't have to try to figure this out. When I try so hard to figure it out, then it makes me all crazy. And I know some cancer patients that when they surrendered to the process, they then opened up to their joy. Sometimes the course of their illness went very different. Sometimes, you know, like tumors just vanished. You know, things that the doctor could not, that medical personnel could not even explain, because they stopped individually, you know, from a tiny, puny perspective, trying to control everything.
Wow. Yeah. I think we've talked about a lot of different insights here today. I mean, it's amazing. So, Elaine, could you, do you want to do another little exercise with the laughter yoga, or lead us through some of the rainbow laughter yoga, let's say?
Well, okay. Let's try this one. One of my favorite laughter yoga exercises is this one called naughty laughter. It's like this. You might be looking at another person or a circumstance, and it's just not what you hoped it would be. So you go, laugh with me. When you laugh, vocal. Okay. Okay. So we're going to do this now. Okay. Everybody, you know, and we could do this once again, like looking at whatever our problem is, whatever we think our problem is. It's like we're waving our finger and saying, you showed up again. You showed up again. I didn't think you were going to show up again. Oh, not you again. Oh. I think the problem's real.
Yeah. I'm going to go and talk to the tax authorities about that, or any other authority in my life, if I let them, right?
This is a problem. You better laugh at it.
Elaine, that felt so good to laugh out, and it's like you take in the breath, and it's so delightful to have new fresh air. And any kind of exercise you can do, it's like bringing new fresh air. Even going outside the room or bringing new colors in. So, what is your takeaway here, Elaine, for you today in this session?
Well, my takeaway is that my takeaway for me is, the rainbow is within me. I have to be willing to find that rainbow within me when I am feeling down and discouraged. I want to play with color. I want to encourage everybody to utilize color. Today, I could say that when I was looking at my own problem, I could say it was red. I was feeling red. I was feeling mad. I was feeling angry. But I could laugh about it. I could come to realize that my own perceptions about my problem, I could give them up. They weren't the only way of looking at things. And as I dared to realize that my problem, you know what, I can let it go, and it's probably going to come back again, so I'll get to laugh some more about it, too.
And on your way, I'm sending you a little heart for being here with us today, and I want to thank you so much from my heart. And so how can people connect with you, Eileen?
On my lower third, which is right here, which happily worked today, you can find me on Google Plus at google.com/Elaine Nieberding. That's my profile page. On my profile page, there will be links to other places that you can find me. My own website is currently down and undergoing revision, so I'm not mentioning that one today. But every Tuesday, or nearly every Tuesday, I host the Hangout show called the Holy Shift Show. It typically airs at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we go about 45 minutes, and we talk about health and wellness and, getting through these holy shift times. That's where you can find me.
Thank you so much for watching. And if you are wanting to see a replay of this, we are posting all our replays on Connections Forum on our website, Hangout on Connections. So with this, I thank everybody, and myself, thank you very much for this episode.